Just a wait. Just got back here to the tractor, getting ready to start farming the field. This was the first field we did. I'm about done. Don't have too many more passes, but just got here, got the fuel filling right there. Then gonna check the oil. And then here on the front steer tires, we got a couple grease zerks. There's about 4 on this side, 3 on that side. Then on the chisel plow, we got some grease zerks right in there on that yellow rock shaft. So while the tank is filling with diesel, we're gonna go ahead and get to greasing that up to get ready to go. Out of grease. Right, our fuel's done, oil's good, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started while I grease up the chisel. Now all I gotta do is grease that yellow rock shaft right there at those pivot points. Be right there, those deals, then we'll be good to go. Got the tractor back over here to where I'm gonna start. As you can see, not too much more left over here. Then just have to finish up these last few passes and I'll go to the next field. So we're gonna get our auto steer here ready to start. We have this button here that kind of activates everything. Then you come over here, hit that button, then that'll start it. While we wait for the auto steer to start up, since it takes a little while, I'll introduce you to kind of what I'm pulling, what I'm driving. So the tractor here, it's kind of hard to see, but it's a John Deere 8400. I'm not for sure on the model year, but today what we're pulling is a Kraus 32-foot chisel plow. And what we're doing with that is all this hay ground here that we're doing, we're using it to kind of farm a little deeper, go a little deeper in the soil to break up that compaction. As you can kind of see in here in the corners, it's a little harder, and that comes from just all the passes it takes between planting and farming. And then when we haul the bales out of here, that puts a lot of compaction on because we use our semi. So that's why we always do this on the hay stubble part of the rotation. As you can see over here, we have our wheat field. Then over there, we'll have the field that we'll be planting to hay this year. And then in our rotation, this field will be put into wheat this September. And that's just how our rotation works. Is what we have is wheat. When we harvest that, the next year we go in and we plant a hay grazer, and then after that, once we get the bales off, we leave that sit fallow for a few years, or for, excuse me, not years, but for a few months, and then in about middle of September we go through and plant it back to wheat. All right, so our auto steer is finally booted up here, so we're gonna hit that button. Then we still have the job, is what it's called in here, from last night from what I started. So I'll hit continue job. It'll load all that up, and as you can see, it's loading where we've already worked, and it's got the line there. Gonna go ahead and pull that forward, pull the tractor forward to get it facing the right direction. And as you can see, it says we're off the line quite a bit, and that's because overnight the satellites that use the, or that the auto steer runs off, kind of drift. So each morning when we go to start up, we always have to line up. As you can see, I got it about where we need it. So I'll go ahead into here, then, oh, wrong one. But we'll hit this button here, then we go to path adjustments, then we hit snap here. And what that does is that moves our lines, and that way now we're centered on the line and we can get to going. So just a little bit about our auto steer system. This here, as you can see, is it's a system made by Outback. It's a system that one of our cousins used that I was working for, and when Dad finally decided to try and go ahead and get some auto steer, we had worked with this Outback company and the system, and we always liked how it worked for them, so that's the company we decided to go with. It's just a WAS auto steer, so it's normally accurate between 6 inches, whereas the RTK units, they're precise to about 1 inch. However, we don't do anything that requires 1 inch accuracy, but as you can tell, it keeps a pretty straight row for us, so it does what we need it to do, and it works out pretty good. Alright, got the last pass here on this field done. So going on the side, we're getting these turn rows. Should only have about 2 passes that I get. About to this end, then I'll turn around, head back. There was a little sliver that I missed on the other side, just because of the edge of the field and the auto steer, the line didn't quite add up. So, gonna knock these out, then we're gonna get on to the next field. Got a quick little funny story about that driveway right in there. We didn't ask to have that put in there. We didn't put it in there ourselves. But as Dad was picking up bales off this field throughout the winter, he would just use our pickup that has a hydrobed bale bed on it, and he would come grab them 2 at a time. Well, this is a mile-long field, so Dad got the bales off that far half first, because that's where the driveway for the field is. Well, he didn't want to have to drive the whole mile down, so what he did was right in there, he just started pulling off in the ditch and coming down to right in here and grabbing bales off this side. Well, the person that runs the grader for our county here in this district, he saw the Dad was using that spot quite a bit, so what he did was he just took his grader down through that area right there, put the blade down, and got it a nice smooth exit off the dirt road, and made a pretty nice driveway for us. That was pretty nice of him, if I say, because we're gonna use that a lot. Alright, got this last little strip right here that I'm doing. As you can see, I'm about back to the other end. Don't have too much farther to go, but I'm gonna go ahead and knock this little strip out, knock those headlands or turn rows, whatever you want to call them. I call them headlands, turn rows, about anything. But gonna knock this out. In the meantime, I'm gonna put on a time-lapse video that I got from last night when I was chiseling this field. So here you go. Just finished up getting these last two turn rows before I go ahead and move to the next field, which is just south a few miles. Got a hard spot here in this wheat field from last harvest. What we do with harvest is we always cut out a little spot in the one corner by the driveways, about where that pickup's sitting, and that's where we bring the semis in and load them. And that even on these smaller fields, kind of like this one, this is a decent sized field, but we normally take about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 truckloads in and out of there, so that gets pretty packed. Just so before we move down there, gonna go ahead and knock that out and then get on to the next field. Well, I got moved over to this next field. This field here is going to be the last field of hay grazer or forage sorghum stubble that I'm working. After this field, I'll be going to one of our other fields that we have our milo or grain sorghum crop on. We go through and we chisel all that in rotation. We have it about like this hay wheat follow rotation we go through every once in a while to break it up, and we've always found that it works best with that milo rotation. We go in after that crop and work it up. This here, these tracks here, that's why we're going through and working these fields up. That's where we went and picked up the bales. The main tracks that you see are from our loader when Dad would go pick the bales up. But then, like right in there, we have a whole bunch of other tracks from where I would drive the semi through the field as we were loading up the hay. And just stuff like that really gets compaction put on the field. And if you don't do anything to get to that, you're gonna start noticing it in your crops. The yield's gonna be affected in those spots, as the roots won't be able to go down as far because there's a hard pan underneath, and the water also disperses out and leaves that area. So just going through and breaking up this compaction with the chisel plow before it gets too hard always helps the soil absorb more water. And well, in our area we don't really get much rain anyways. Kind of depends on the year. There are some years we have gotten more, but the last few years we've been kind of dry, and you can notice it in the wheat. In some of the other clips from that last field, you can probably see the wheat was pretty patchy. That isn't because we aren't good farmers or anything. It's just there was no moisture when we planted the crop, and there were spots that we got a good stand on with the moisture, but there were other spots that we just didn't have the moisture, so we didn't get a good stand. And overall, we've had decent years. We'll probably have to go through with another drill and replant those areas here in the next few days. We're at least hoping to, but we'll see how that goes. If we are able to get another drill to go in and replant those, that'd be pretty nice. Just that would help our overall yield. The reason we would have to get another drill to do that is on McCaffrey Farms we have what is called the hoe drill, and for instance it's kind of set up like the chisel plow. It's got shanks. They don't tear up quite as much dirt as like this does, but if we were to go through the wheat that's already standing, that would completely take it out and kill that. Whereas the disc or the planter that we're trying to get would be a disc drill, and so that would much less disturb the soil and the plants that are already there. So that's what we're hoping for. That way the wheat that is there will stay there and we can get those dead spots that didn't come up. That's going to be all that I have for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see in the videos, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. But as I said before, I'll always make sure to keep in touch with what I'm doing. If you want to, I would appreciate it if you check out my Instagram page as well. It's also McCaffrey Farms. It's all lowercase, McCaffrey_farms. Go check it out on Instagram. For that, what I'll be doing with that Instagram page is I'll be posting updates throughout the days with what we're doing. It's just another way to kind of showcase what I'm doing here on the farm, what's going on, what we're doing for the day, but without making so many repetitive videos. So make sure to go check that out. But like I said, thank you for watching. If you like the channel, like what you see, like the videos, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.